and Media Institute of Management. So we can see the reach. And probably also has given talks. He has inspired and spoken many seminars in all the top corporates like Google, Microsoft, Samsung, Amazon, and all in their headquarters. And he is very well respected, very well received, and his classes are deeply inspiring to devotees and everyone across the world. So it is our great fortune to listen from Prabhuji about this wonderful topic which Prabhuji has mentioned. So we are looking forward to hear from Prabhuji. Let us very enthusiastically welcome Prabhuji with three loud Hari Bol. His Grace Shubha Vilas Prabhuji ki.
Om Gyan Divirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurpiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayambhupadamahyam Dadati Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajanam Sathagana Sadevam Sarvaitam Savarutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sathagana Lalita Shri Shakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudere Pranamami Haridya Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priya Dvaita Dhamma Vivasudhamadiva Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram. Yeah. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Sunday Feast program. Today we are, in the next 45 minutes or so, going to be discussing one of the most thrilling sections of the Ramayana. And this is the Ram Ravan war, the whole section of the fight between Ram and Ravan. But we'll go a little background to it, and we'll try our best to go as deep as possible within the limited time that we have. When Lord Ram and the Vanara army reached the shore of Lanka, the battle that was going to be fought between Ravan's army and Lord Ram's army was not exactly a fair battle, because the Vanaras were not equipped at all, and Ravan's army was very heavily equipped. The Vanaras had built a bridge which was a 800-mile long and a 80-mile wide bridge, and they managed to build this bridge in a matter of 5 days. Imagine building a bridge of 800-mile long and 80-mile wide in 5 days. By any standard, this is unheard of, isn't it? In Mumbai, when bridges get built, it takes 5 years. If you come out of 5 years to India, also you'll find same bridges being built. So here, the Vanaras, they built this massive bridge, and When Lord Ram put his first step on the bridge, something amazing happened. The ocean swelled up with so much pride that Lord Ram has stepped on the ocean. And with that pride, the ocean and wave came and hit the bridge. And the wave brought along with it so many conch shells. And the monkey army picked up all those conch shells and began to blow it. And then Lord Ram walked on the bridge. And as Lord Ram stepped on the bridge, all the aquatics in the ocean, the sharks, the dolphins, and the whales, and the crocodiles and the tortoises, all of them came and attached themselves to the bridge. So the bridge is already 80 miles wide. Now with all these, sea animals, it became much, much wider. And all the Vanaras, the number of Vanaras was so many that 80-mile wide bridge also was short. So, that's why the aquatics assisted. Lord Ram walked and then he reached the other side of the ocean. Partially he rode on Hanumanji's shoulder and Lakshman rode on Angad's shoulder. And they reached the other side of the ocean. And the war was just about to start. As I said, the monkey army wasn't equipped. They had no weapons. They had no armors. They had no chariots. They had no sophisticated equipments. But Lanka army was powerful. Every single latest equipment they had, highly trained, highly protected by armors. They had the best of vehicles. When the clash began between the Vanaras and the Rakshasas, it is explained that the Vanaras were roaring loudly like lions, and the Rakshasas were feeling afraid. How come the Vanaras who have nothing could roar so much in confidence, and the Rakshasas who have everything, they are scared? Confidence doesn't come by equipment. Confidence doesn't come by skills. Confidence doesn't come by resources. Confidence comes when you have the right purpose. When you have right purpose and the right intentions, and you are on the right side, then confidence comes. The confidence that comes out of purpose is something that lasts. And that is something that is very, very strongly coming from within the heart. The Vanaras had no equipment, as I said. What would they use to fight? Whatever they got, they would use to fight. If they got stone, they would use stone to fight. If they got a stick, they would use stick to fight. If they got a tree, they would use a tree to fight. If they got nothing, they use their hands and nails and teeth and whatever. If they could get the enemy's weapon, they will use that fellow's weapon also to kill them. So the Vanaras are very practical and very flexible. So when the Ram war began, the Vanaras were extremely excited and they began to attack the Rakshasas like anything. And the war between Ram and Ravan, it on an external level seems to be like any other war that we see. But on a deeply internal level, it is something else only happening. It's a fight of good against evil. It is also a fight of someone who has a purpose which is higher. The Vanaras were doing it because they loved Ram. They were doing it because they had a mission of rescuing Mother Sita. They were doing it because they knew Ravan was wrong and they were on the right side. All this was a confidence that helped them fight. So during the war of between the Vanaras and the Rakshasas, so many amazing things happened. I'm going to focus on a few episodes in the war. So the war lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. And during this entire war, so many miracles and so many powerful things happened. So during the Ram-Ravan war, at one particular point, Lord Ram was very, very angry at all the Rakshasas because they were harassing the Vanaras like anything. Out of great anger, Ram took out a weapon. He took out an arrow. And the name of this arrow was Vayavastra. And he shot this arrow. The moment Ram shot this arrow, something mystical happened that nobody could understand. everyone on the battlefield, whoever was there on the battlefield, all of them started looking like Ram. They all started looking like Ram. All the Rakshasas were looking like Ram. All the Vanaras were looking like Ram. And everyone was confused. What is going on? Wherever they sing Ram only. And the Rakshasas, when they saw Ram all around them, they thought the enemy is here with them. And they began to attack each other and kill each other. And all the Vanaras, when they saw Ram around them, they started offering obeisances to each other. And it was such an amazing scene. By the time the Vanaras got up, all the Rakshasas were dead. Nobody fought only that day. Automatically, everyone died. And the Vanaras, the respect for each other, it grew. Because they suddenly started seeing Ram in each other. This is the difference between a demonic mentality and divine mentality. In every one of us, Ram exists. It is not possible only that somebody says, I don't have God in me. Everyone, there is Ram. But different people react to the Ram within you differently. Some people, when they see divine qualities in you, they become envious of those divine qualities. See, whatever we have in our life, it's a manifestation of Krishna's qualities only, right? Ram's qualities only, right? If you have any sort of skill, any sort of talent, any sort of ability, it is a manifestation of Ram only. It is a manifestation of Krishna only in our lives. So when we exhibit those skills and qualities, and if somebody else becomes envious of that skills and qualities, you're actually becoming envious of Ram within the other person. You're actually becoming envious of God within the other person. And when someone respects those divine qualities, you're actually respecting God within that person. And that's what the whole story is about. So because the Vanaras could see Ram in each other, they could actually appreciate and respect one another. And the Rakshasas, they ended up killing each other. One of the lessons of this story is that if you have a big problem in front of you, don't tell God how big the problem is. Tell the problem how big God is. And here, the Vanaras, they didn't have to do anything to solve the problem. Problem automatically got solved. Isn't it? There are many problems in our life which are very big problems. And we are scared of them. We are fearful of them. We don't know how to deal with them. But those are the problems that we have to convince ourselves and tell ourselves that don't worry. We have someone even more powerful than the problem on our side, which is Ram. And when Ram is on our side, he doesn't even have to fight the war to finish the war. He can just shoot one arrow and everybody kills each other, isn't it? During the war, at one point during the war, Kumbhakarna was sent by Ravana. He said Kumbhakarna wakes up once in 6 months. And he wakes up for one day. And in that one day, he creates such a havoc. And he eats unlimited. And next day again, he goes to sleep for 6 months. There are some people who should sleep so much. They are good when they sleep only. When they wake up, they're very dangerous. I'm sure all of you know people look like that. The more they're awake, the more there is threat to the world. Better make them sleep only. Yeah? Kumbhakarna woke up only one day in 6 months, but that one day was too much, basically. So this guy walked into the army, and he was so huge, so massive in size. The Vanaras had never seen anyone so huge in their lives. And he was so gigantic. When he came into the Vanara army, he began to pick up the Vanaras like this and put them into his mouth. He's eating up Vanaras in hundreds. And these Vanaras, when they entering into the mouth of Kumbhakarna, some of them were not being picked by him. So they would enter into his mouth and come out from his nose, and escape. And some of them would come out from his ears and escape. Well, that's the size of Kumbhakarna, basically. So, like, as Kumbhakarna was destroying these Vanara forces like this, Sugriv realized that we have to stop him. So Sugriv came to attack Kumbhakarna to save all his army. And when Kumbhakarna saw Sugriv, he just hit him with his left hand. And Sugriv got thrown out so far away. He banged on a wall and he fell unconscious. And Kumbhakarna walked up to the unconscious Sugriv, picked him up, put him on his shoulders, and went back to Lanka. The Vanars are shocked. Their king is gone. The king is, imagine, the war, if Kumbhakarna not even begin, the king only is gone. You get picked up with the king and took. And all the Vanars are totally bewildered. As Kumbhakarna was walking into the city of Lanka, all the Lankavasis began to celebrate Kumbhakarna's victory. And to celebrate, they started throwing flowers on Kumbhakarna, and some of them started throwing scented water on Kumbhakarna. And some of that scented water fell on Sugriv, and he woke up. And suddenly he realized that he's in big trouble. Because if he goes into Lanka, there's no chance he'll get out alive. So he decided to act very quick. Sugriv immediately jumped on the ears of Kumbhakarna and bit off the ears. And then he jumped on the nose of Kumbhakarna and bit off the nose. And Sugriv ran away back to the Vanara army. When you hear a story like this, you might wonder, what's happening in the Ramayana? Everybody is interested in ears and nose of other people. Everybody seems to be interested in doing ENT surgeries. So the ear represents something very interesting. The word Kumbhakarna means the one whose ears are big like a pot. Kumbhakarna. Karna means ears. Kumbhakarna means massive ears. Some people in this world are like Kumbhakarna. They love to hear gossip about other people. The ears are big. The moment somebody starts talking gossip, oh my God, the ears become so active, so alert. Every single minute detail you observe it, And the same ear during Bhagavatam class, it becomes very small. Hardly you remember anything, hardly you recognize anything. Half the time sleep is conquering you. Have you ever seen anyone sleeping during gossip? Never. But during Bhagavatam class, 100% you sleep. That's Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna means somebody whose ears are so huge that he fills up his ears with garbage. Fills up his ears with nonsense. And that's what Kumbhakarna represents. Kumbhakarna represents pride. The nature of a proud person is that he loves to hear about himself. The nature of a proud person is he loves to hear about himself. If you speak something good about somebody else, you must see the reaction. They are so happy, so excited. They want to hear more and more and more about themselves. Right? That's the nature of pride. And pride is like a mountain. That's why Kumbhakarna was so huge in size. Because they represented the mountain of pride. Why did Sugriv bite off the ears of Kumbhakarna specifically? Because he wanted to stop pride from growing. And stop pride grows from the ears, isn't it? The more you hear about yourself, the more proud you become. So Sugriv said, this fellow is becoming too big, let me bite off his ears, which is a source of increasing his pride. He bit off the ears of Kumbhakarna. So Kumbhakarna gets so angry, he rushes towards the Vanara army. And when he rushes towards the Vanara army, now this time the Vanara are scared to face him. When he came out in the beginning, they all thought we'll beat him up together. They all climbed on him and started beating him. But nothing they could do. This time when he came running, they realized that we can't beat him. We don't have the capacity to beat him. They all went and hid behind Ram. All other anarthas, lust, anger, greed, all the other anarthas, you can fight with yourself. But pride is the only anartha that you can't fight with yourself. It's too big for you. Therefore, you have to go and take shelter of God and allow God to have the fight with pride. Even Lakshman didn't come to fight with Kumbhakarna. He allowed Ram to fight. Because pride is one of the most difficult things to cross. After all of the anarthas are crossed, we get stuck in pride. I've conquered envy, I've conquered, greed, I've conquered lust, I've conquered anger. And then I think, I have conquered all of it. You conquer all of it, where you get stuck? You get stuck in the thought that I did it. That's pride. That's the sixth anartha. And to deal with pride, only Ram can help you deal with it. So Ram comes on the front and he shoots arrows at Kumbhakarna. First, he cuts off the hands of Kumbhakarna. And still Kumbhakarna is walking towards him, crushing everybody with his feet. And then Ram cuts off the feet of Kumbhakarna. And Kumbhakarna starts rolling on the ground with his body, crushing all the Vanaras. And then Ram shoots hundreds of arrows and fills the mouth of Kumbhakarna with arrows. Now you're wondering why Ram fills the mouth of Kumbhakarna with arrows. There is a very interesting reason. The reason is that when a person is very proud, first he likes to hear about himself. But if nobody is speaking about him, he begins to speak about himself. Isn't it? If nobody is speaking about him, he starts speaking about himself. That's what social media is in a sense. Social media, you glorify yourself only. Nobody is glorifying you. I glorify myself. So Kumbhakarna's mouth was filled with arrows so that he can't speak about his own glories. And finally, Ram cuts off the head of Kumbhakarna and throws it towards the gate of Lanka. So when Kumbhakarna was killed, Ravan was very disturbed. And eventually Ravan, he decides to come and attack Ram himself. Of course, I'm kind of squeezing the whole 7 days war into literally 7 minutes, So the Ram Ravan war, so Ravan comes out himself. And he comes out in a massive chariot. This chariot is drawn by 100 horses. And it has all the most amazing equipment, fully made up of gold, and having a very expert chariot driver. Ravana is wearing the best of armors, carrying the best of weapons, and he comes out to fight against Ram. Ram is standing on the ground. He doesn't have a chariot. He doesn't have an armor. He doesn't have good equipment also. He doesn't have any driver. So Vibhishan is comparing Ravan and Ram. And he tells Ram, my dear Lord, how will you fight against Ravan? You don't have a chariot, you don't have a driver, you don't have equipments, you don't have an armor also. Even your chappal Bharat took away. How will you fight against Ravan? He's asking Ram. And Ram gives a very amazing answer to Vibhishan. He says, who told you I don't have a chariot? Ram says, I'm standing on a chariot. This chariot is called Dharma Ratha. I'm standing on the chariot of Dharma. And he says, who told you I don't have an armor? I'm wearing the armor of Satguna, good qualities. Who told you I don't have equipments and weapons? I'm carrying the weapon of knowledge. And who told you I don't have a chariot driver? My chariot driver is sadhana, process of spiritual practices. And he said, when I am standing on this chariot of Dharmaratha, I can fight against all the Durjanas very easily. Ravan represents all the evil, all the bad qualities in us. But to fight against all these bad qualities, you need to stand on this chariot. In our scriptures, chariots are very important. Chariots play a very important role. Yeah. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a chariot, isn't it? Ram here speaks about Dharmaratha, the chariot of Dharma. And then when Krishna was, his father and mother, Devaki and Vasudeva, when they were being, after they got married, they were taken home by Kamsa on a chariot. And while they were on this chariot, the Akashvani happened, right? Do you ever realize why that Akashvani happened when they were on the chariot? There's a very interesting reason, The voice from the heavens came because who was driving the Ratha of Vasudeva and Devaki? Kamsa. Imagine if Kamsa becomes the driver of your chariot of life. Which direction do you take it in? Yeah? So that Akashvani happened only to get Kamsa off the chariot. So that, Krishna saying, my father and mother being driven by Kamsa, I can't handle it. Yeah. He said, first get him out. And that's why the Akashvani happened at that point. It could have happened any other point in time. But to get Kamsa out of Vasudeva Devaki's chariot, the Akashvani happened. So chariot is very symbolic in nature. So Ram comes to attack Lord Ram, and there's a very intense fight. And the fight is, this is the first time Ravan is facing Ram in the 7 days of the war. And Ram becomes so angry at Ravan. He shoots so many arrows that Ravan becomes unconscious. And his driver somehow steers the chariot away and takes the chariot out of the field. And he tends to Ravan's wounds and he's feeding him water and all that. And Ravan wakes up after some time. Immediately, Ravan, when he sees that he is outside the battlefield and his chariot driver has brought him out, he gets so angry on this chariot driver, he starts shouting at him. He said, "You stupid fellow, how dare you bring me out of the battlefield?" The chariot driver, he gets very upset with Ravan. He says, "Do you know what happened over there in the battlefield after you fell unconscious?" He said, "All the monkeys jumped on your chariot, they were dragging you away. I somehow fought with them and brought you out of the battlefield. Otherwise, you would have been captivated by them." And then Ravan realized he made a mistake. But obviously, he doesn't say sorry. He says, "Let us go back." Ravan just doesn't know how to say sorry and thank you. These words don't exist in his dictionary. So when Ravan comes back, before he comes back, something amazing happens on Lord Ram's side. Indra sends his chariot with his driver named Matali to Ram for his use. Now imagine this. War is almost over. And this fellow is sending chariot at this time. What is the point? I mean, 7 days Ram fought without the chariot. He can fight one more war without the chariot, right? How come Indra sends the chariot now? After the war is almost over. The reason is because Indra wanted to be politically right. He was not sure whether Ram will win or Ravan will win at this point in time. But now everybody else is dead. Only Ravan is alive. So Indra is feeling that very good chance that this elections Ram will come. When Indra feels that there is no other possibility, then he sends chariot just to be on the good books of Ram also. Ram, Matali comes to Lord Ram and he says, "My dear Lord, Indra has sent his chariot to you. Please come and use this chariot." So Ram goes around the chariot 3 times very respectfully and then he climbs on the chariot. And then Lord Ram tells Matali, "Please go to Ravan." And he says, "Be careful when you're approaching Ravan." And then suddenly Ram stops speaking. And he says, "I'm sorry, I spoke to you in an instructive tone." And he says, "I know that you are the driver of Indra. I shouldn't have spoken to you in an instructive tone." And he says, "I know that you're expert in what you're doing. And I have full faith and full confidence in your abilities." Now, when Matali hears this, he becomes so touched. He has driven many people in the past. He has driven many Indras in the past. And he knows the behavior of all these guys. Usually, most people, their behavior towards a driver tells a lot about their character. The behavior towards your staff tells a lot about who you are as a person. And the moment Matali heard Ram speaking, he said, "This is the person I want to give my life to." And then he put his best into the effort. And then eventually, Ram-Ravan war happens. And Ram and Ravan are fighting each other. The war is so intense, so powerful, that all the other warriors, the Rakshasas and the Vanaras, all of them stop fighting. All of them completely stop fighting. And they only are watching Ram and Ravan fight the war. So the war is so captivating and so powerful. And the battle is happening at such a pace. Nobody knows when Ram is, putting his arrow, when Ram is shooting his arrow. It is so fast. Ram's bow has a very small bell. It's a very tiny bell. Every time Ram kills a few thousand people, the bell rings once. During the Ram-Ravan war, the bell was ringing constantly. Imagine the speed at which the arrows are coming out from Ram's bow, And when the war began, at some point, Ram, he was so angry at Ravan that he cut off one of the heads of Ravan. And the head of Ravan flew and fell on the battlefield. Everyone thought the war is over. And just when they thought the war is over, zoop, the head came back again. Rama amazed. He said, "What is this?" Again, he shot an arrow, cut off the other head of Ravan. Again, a head came back. And Ram was cutting off so many limbs of Ravan, his hands and head. Every time he cut off one of the limb came back again. Ram was amazed. Very soon, on the battlefield were hundreds of heads of Ravan and hundreds of hands of Ravan. And yet Ravan was standing over there laughing. Imagine your own head lying on the floor, How strange, isn't it? And Ravan is seeing his head all over his heads are there. And here, Lord Ram, he looks at Vibhishan, he asks him, what's going on? What is happening here? Vibhishan tells Lord Ram, there is a secret that you need to know. You cannot kill Ravan by chopping off his heads or any of his limbs. He has got a boon of Lord Brahma that no matter how many heads, how many limbs are cut off, it will come back again. The only way to kill Ravan is that in his navel there is a pot of nectar. And only when you dry that pot of nectar will Ravan die. And that pot of nectar can be dried with only one arrow. It is called the Brahma Ban. And that arrow, only Ravan knows where it is. He has kept it in a secret hiding spot. And other than Ravan, the only other person who knows where this arrow is Mandodari. Ram looked at Hanumanji, and Hanumanji understood his assignment. Hanumanji loves open-ended assignments. Where there is no restriction, no rules, no conditions. Hanumanji jumped into Lanka. And he transformed himself into an old astrologer. And he started walking around Lanka, saying, Jai Shri Ravan, Jai Shri Ravan. In Lanka, obviously, at that point in time, people were very interested in astrology. If people wanted to know what is the future of Lanka, isn't it? When you're in trouble, people are looking for astrologers, isn't it? And Hanumanji was roaming around. And people would approach him saying that, please tell me what happened to my husband. And Hanumanji, every person who approached them, absolutely bang on, he would give, what happened to them. Because most of the people he only killed. He knew how this was killed. He knew where the whole body is also. So like this, Hanumanji gained the trust of all these people. And very soon the word started spreading in Lanka that one really good astrologer has come. Mandodari obviously was very worried, because nobody was left in the whole family. You should call for the astrologer. And Hanumanji looked at Mandodari and he told her, don't worry, Ravan will emerge victorious in this Ram-Ravan war. And Mandodari was very, very happy. While he was leaving, Hanumanji turned behind and he said, are you sure you have kept the secret a secret? Mandodari started thinking, how does he know what the secret is? So she said, yes, the secret is a secret. So Hanumanji was leaving. Again he turned back. He said, are you absolutely sure it is in a safe place? Now Mandodari started having doubt. And she said, yes, it is safe in this pillar. And Hanumanji broke on the pillar and took the arrow and went away. And in the next moment, Ravan was dead. Ram shot the arrow in his navel and he was dead. When Ravan died and he was lying on the battlefield, Vibhishan was so angry at his brother. He was so upset at his brother that his brother did so many wrong things in his life. And now he's lying dead like this. And Vibhishan started telling Lord Ram, my dear Ram, I don't want to do anything with this fellow. I don't even want to touch his body because he's so simple. Ram told Vibhishan something very interesting. Ram told Vibhishan that right and wrong is only till a person is alive. For the dead body, you should always respect it. Do not carry these feelings of anger and feelings of pain beyond a person's life. Just let go, bury it along with him. And Ram told him, you must give him a decent burial, cremation, and he said, do it the way you do for the king of Lanka. He deserves that. And then Vibhishan arranged for a very, very royal cremation for Ravan. And all the Lankavasis joined in the cremation. And after this, Lord Ram sends Hanumanji to meet Mother Sita. Hanumanji jumps and reaches Ashwagandha and he meets Mother Sita and tells her the good news that Ravan is dead. Interestingly, the Mother Sita had given a countdown, a deadline of 1 month. When Hanumanji had met her in Lanka, Sita told Hanumanji I give you 1 month time for Ram to come and rescue me. If Ram does not rescue me in 1 month, then I will end my life. Sita told Hanumanji. So from that moment, Hanuman heard this, the countdown had begun, time had begun. For a lot of people who feel that Ramayana is very boring, not exciting, you hear this. When Sita told the countdown to Hanumanji, 30 days. It took Hanumanji about 1.5 days to burn Lanka and do all the discussion with Ravan and wind up and reach from that shore to the other shore of the ocean. And then it took them another 1.5 days to reach from southern tip of India to Kinda in Karnataka. And then when they reached there, 3 days were over of the 30 days. And then Ram, he decided to move towards Lanka. The entire Vanar army moved to the south. It took them 12 days for the army to move from Kishkinda to the southern tip because there were millions of them. When they reached the shore of the ocean, there was a 800-mile ocean. How to cross it? Vibhishan told it is good to sit here and do tapasya and please the ocean god. 3 days, Ram sat on the shore of the ocean to please the ocean god. So 3 plus 12, 15, 15 plus another 3 days, 18 days. The bridge construction took how many days? Anyone remembers? 5 days. 5 days. The bridge construction took 5 days. So 18 plus 5, 23. And the Ram-Ravan war lasted for 7 days. On the 7th day, which is the 30th day of Mother Sita, Ravan was killed. And Hanumanji came and gave good news to Mother Sita. And the day Ravan was killed was not only the 30th day of the war, it was also the last day of the 14 years of exile. And Bharat had told Ram, after the 14 years of exile, if you don't come the next day, I will end my life. So now Ram somehow managed to rescue Sita. Now he has to save Bharat, And therefore Ram asked Vibhishan for the Pushpa Viman. Otherwise Ram would have gone back walking only, But if he goes by walking, it will take him many months. And Ram climbs on the Pushpa Viman along with Mother Sita. And Hanumanji climbs along with them. And Vibhishan and Sugriv says, can we also come along? We want to see your coronation. Ram says, fine, come. And all the Vanaras say, can we also come along? Ram says, fine, come. All the Vanaras get into the plane. Imagine a plane that does not have seat limitations. As only you So the Pushpa Viman expands according to how many people enter it. Ravan used the Pushpa Viman alone. Imagine, he was using it like a private jet. But Ram invited all the Vanaras to climb the Pushpa Viman. He made a more, public use of the Pushpa Viman. And the Pushpa Viman took off. And Lord Ram started showing Mother Sita all the places that she didn't know about. She showed him the huge bridge, That bridge of Ram that connects Lanka and India. That bridge is called Ram Setu. It's also called Nala Setu. But it should ideally be called the Monument of Love. It is the original monument of love. Taj Mahal, all those people who built the monument of love, their hands were chopped off. But all the people that built this bridge, which was Ram's love for his wife, Mother Sita, all of them are awarded, respected, worshipped. This is the difference. So the monument of love cannot lead to pain to other people, right? If you love somebody, you also should love other people. But if you hate everybody else and you love only one person, how is that love? Isn't it? So Ram and Mother Sita, they saw all these places and they reached where Kishkinda was. In Kishkinda, Pushpa Viman got down. Mother Sita said, you should call all the Vanara women also. Because they also made equal sacrifices. If the Vanaras did sacrifice, their wives also did equal sacrifice. We can't go without them. Lord Ram said, see, it's already becoming sunset almost. Bharat is going to die over there. For normal human women to get ready, it takes quite some time. He said, I have no idea how long Vanara women are going to take to get ready. He said, I can't take the risk. Mother said, nothing doing. Without them, you're not going anywhere. They waited, and all the Vanara women boarded, and the Pushpa Viman took off. And the Pushpa Viman reached Bharat Muni's ashram. They got down at Bharat Muni's ashram. And in Bharat Muni's ashram, Lord Ram had to meet Bharat. He had promised him Before he goes to Ayodhya, he'll meet him and go. So he got down there and told Hanumanji, you go to Bharat and tell him that I've come. And you see his eyes. The eyes reveal a lot about a person's intentions. So he tells him, you look at Bharat's eyes when you're giving this news. In Bharat's eyes, if you see even a little hesitation, just come and tell me, I will never go back to Ayodhya. Because 14 years, anybody can get attached to the place, attached to the kingdom, isn't it? So Ram did not want to take the kingdom if Bharat is not eager for him to take it. Hanumanji went, Bharat was almost about to commit suicide at that point in time, and Hanumanji sits on top and narrates Ramayana. In the Ramayana, there are 3 times where suicide attempts happen. Mother Sita tries to commit suicide, then the monkeys on the shore of the ocean, when they were despondent, they try to commit suicide, and third is Bharat tries to commit suicide. And in all the 3 attempts, the one that saves is Ramayana. So I tell people, if somebody is considering suicide, please stand Ramayana once. You might change, your mood might change. And when Bharat heard the Ramayana from Hanumanji, his heart was so touched. And Bharat decided, so Bharat, he was so happy that Ram has come. And when Hanumanji saw that happiness in Bharat's eyes, he went and reported to Lord Ram. And by that time, Lord Ram was already sitting and eating prasad. And everyone was sitting and eating, prasad. And there was no plate for Hanumanji. So everyone was wondering, it's embarrassing that Hanumanji doesn't have a plate. Lord Ram, he was sitting on this big leaf. With his finger, he draws a line in the middle. And he tells Hanumanji, come on, sit on the other side. That side of the leaf you eat, this side of the leaf I eat. So from that time, banana leaves have that line in between. So whenever you see the line in between the banana leaves, remember Lord Ram made it. Isn't it? And so after this, the Pushpa Viman again takes off and they reach Nandigram. So when they land, the Pushpa Viman lands at Nandigram. It's late in the evening. And all the Ayodhya Vasis, they have come to Nandigram to receive Lord Ram. And they all light lamps to receive Ram. The lamps signify light of knowledge. When Ram went from Ayodhya to the forest, there was a lot of darkness in Ayodhya. The darkness signifies ignorance. The darkness signifies lack of knowledge. And the Ayodhya Vasis, they want to tell Ram right from the beginning. Before he lands also, he should know that now Ayodhya is different. It is not a dark place. It is not a place of ignorance. We are all equipped with a lamp of knowledge. Please come, we will take good care of you. So when Lord Ram sees these thousands of lamps lit below, he becomes so happy in his heart. The Pushpa Viman descends, Ram gets off from the Pushpa Viman, and he first goes to his Guru Vashishta and falls at the feet of Vashishta. And when he falls at the feet of Vashishta, he keeps the bow and arrow at the feet of Vashishta. And when Ram gets up, he doesn't pick up the bow and arrow. Because Ram wants to show that Ram Rajya is not going to happen using power, using weapons. Ram Rajya is going to be based on love, based on affection. So Ram gets up, Mother Kaushalya comes and all the mothers come. They are so happy to see Lord Ram. Kaushalya asks him, how did you manage to cross the ocean of Ravan's army? And at that time, Ram gives a very beautiful answer. Ram says, I managed to cross the ocean of Ravan's army with 2 things. I had a boat. The boat that I had was the Vanara army. The Vanara army was a beautiful boat, sturdy boat that helped me cross this ocean. And the second thing that helped me cross the ocean is oars. And the oars that I had was my Guru's mercy, the mercy of my spiritual master. And both these things helped me cross the ocean. Ram didn't say, I killed Ravan. Ram didn't say, I did it. I planned well. I was powerful. Ram didn't say any of this. He didn't take any credit for it for himself. He gave the whole credit to his Guru and gave the whole credit to the Vanaras. And that's what really touched the heart of all the Vanaras. The Vanaras had done a little bit, isn't it? But without Ram, how could the Vanaras win? But the entire credit of winning, Ram gave it to the Vanaras. And this is how Ram Rajya gets established. Of course, all the Ayodhya Vasis, they spend 13 days in Nandigram. Because when Lord Ram had left, Dasharatha Maharaj had died, Ram didn't get a chance to do the final rites of Dasharatha Maharaj. And Ram spent 13 days in Nandigram doing the final rites of Dasharatha. And then after 13 days, they entered into Ayodhya. That is why Diwali is celebrated 13 days later. Many people have this doubt, Dussehra is there, Diwali is here. But how did Ram enter the next day when he came to Ayodhya? He entered Ayodhya 13 days later. Therefore, there's a gap between Dussehra and Diwali. Basically. Every second day, somebody sends me a message asking this. So I'm clarifying now only. So these festivals, Dussehra and Diwali, they are beautiful festivals that have very deep meaning. Every festival in the Vedic scriptures should not be just celebrated as a fun event, but behind every festival is a contemplation. Until and unless you contemplate on the meaning behind the festival, our festival is not complete. So I always tell people, especially those who are from the land of India, there was a guy who found a golden brick. And this is the last story I'm going to tell you. There was a man who found a golden brick one day. And this golden brick was such thick, solid gold. He loved it. He went and hid it behind the backyard of his house. Every day, he would come at a particular time, open that place, look at his brick, admire his brick and put it back and close it. Only to come back the next day to admire it again. One wise man saw this happening on a daily basis. This wise guy, he went, dug open the golden brick, removed it, and replaced it by an iron brick. The next day, this man comes, opens up the golden brick, the place, and he sees his golden brick is missing, and instead it is an iron brick. He starts crying. He said, I lost my brick, I lost my brick. This wise man comes out. He says, what difference it makes whether it is an iron brick inside or a gold brick inside? For you, both are same. You're not using either of them, isn't it? Most people in India, they are like this man. Once in a while, when Diwali comes, they'll remove that golden brick. They say, wow, what culture we have, and they'll put it back in. And then another festival comes, they'll open it and dig it, and they'll say, wow, what a great culture we have. Again, put it back in. The whole idea of these festivals, they are not just once in a few months episode that comes to wear good clothes and wear, nice things and enjoy yourself. That's not the purpose of these festivals. These festivals are contemplations that remind us of the greatness and richness of our culture. But that golden brick is useful only when you apply it on a daily basis. Only when you apply this knowledge on a daily basis. Don't just think that I have great knowledge, but you don't know what the knowledge is. What I have been doing in my humble effort is trying to make this knowledge accessible for people like you. For those who don't know Sanskrit, those who don't know, complicated scriptures, I am trying to write these scriptures in a very simple, down-to-earth, easy to understand format. I have almost 40 books that I've written so far. And there are so many children books that I've written. My recommendation to all of you all is that please go ahead, explore all these books that are here, and buy as many books as you can. These books are written in a language that is very, very simple. I've written a whole series of books called Ramayana, the Game of Life, which is a 6-volume series. Yes, you already have it.
I have four.
So I've written an entire series of books called Ramayana, the Game of Life, that helps you apply the teachings of Ramayana in your life. Every family must have a set of these 6 books. It will really help you absorb the Ramayana in your life. This is how the first book looks. And like this, we have 6 books in the series. In addition to the Ramayana series, I've written many other books that are very, very practical and very useful. Here is a book on Lord Ganesh. So for those who want to know more about Lord Ganesh and have no idea who he is as a person, you may do Ganesh Chaturthi, you may worship him, but how many of you actually know who Lord Ganesh is? This book is a good introduction to Lord Ganesh. Here is a book on Lord Shiva. This is a very interesting book that tells you about 50 stories of Lord Shiva, that you can actually develop a connection with him and understand Lord Shiva as one of the greatest Vaishnavas. And I have another book here on Hanumanji. This is called Chronicles of Hanuman. And in addition to Chronicles of Hanuman, I have this book called Hanuman Chalisa. So those who are reciting Hanuman Chalisa or who know the Hanuman Chalisa, This is the book that will tell you the meaning of Hanuman Chalisa. Every word of Hanuman Chalisa explained through stories of Hanumanji. I can tell you this is one of the most powerful meditations you can get on Hanumanji. It will really help you absorb yourself on Hanuman. This book is my best book. It's called Open Eye Meditations. Many devotees use this book as a guidebook for their life. Whenever you come across any situation in life where you need a solution, this book has it. And this book has solutions presented from stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata that you can apply in your lives. Here is the book called Perfect Love. For all those of you who heard today's Bhagavatam class, the story is from here. And in this book, you will find 6 love stories. Each story talks about one aspect of how you can maintain relationships. It's called 5.5 Ways to Lasting Relationships. You should definitely explore this book. And here is a book called Plug into Happiness. This is the book that will help you understand corporate work-life balance, help you find happiness in your workspace. And finally, this is a book called Mystical Tales to Magical Life. This is my answer to Harry Potter. For all those of you who are Harry Potter fans, you must read this book. You will find this is 100 times better than Harry Potter in terms of the story. I found 11 stories which are fascinating stories. I call them as crazy stories. Please explore this book. This has 11 unheard stories from the Vedic scriptures, but each story teaches you one lesson to life. In addition to this, I have many other children books over here. Please spend time exploring these books. Understand that these books are treasure houses of knowledge and wisdom, and help all your children connect with scriptures, the Vedic culture in a very interesting way. Don't look at buying books ever as an expense, look at it as an investment. It's an investment in understanding, it's an investment in knowledge, and it's worth every penny. I'm so grateful to all of you for your patient listening, especially grateful to Yugal Prabhu for having invited me here and allowing me to share some of my thoughts with all of you. It's always a pleasure to be in Prabhu's association. He's such a humble, such a sincere, and such a beautiful Vaishnav. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for being here, for all the devotees who have taken such nice care of me while I'm here. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class.
They told me he wrote 40 books in a few years. I was amazed. She, such a wisdom of, I know that wisdom and knowledge. Amazing. And America, I think everyone is worried about children. First, you should be worried about yourselves, then worry about children, So, 1998, I always say this in my class. Christians came and did research in India. They came to know 97% of Indians don't know how many Vedas are there, how many Puranas are there, how many Purushas are there. Whatever we know is all based on what the movies that we saw. That's it, right? So, but he has been doing research and then he's writing. He told me in his 4 years he finished his PhD. He acquired in psychology. Then he wrote 40 books. Then he is a visiting professor to all the 3 IIMs. And he goes to Goa and he teaches. He has opened a 10 center. And apart from that, he also comes to the temple. There he was Brahmachari, Chopra temple, and he would also hang on with people. Plus, he travels all over the world. Where can you find a person who is ocean of knowledge? So my request to you was to knew by them, and believe me, before you finish them, your children would have finished by then, because they are more powerful with reading anyway. So it's very grateful. Unfortunately, today, a month ago, we planned this drama. Otherwise, it should have happened in the normal time. So, but thank you for coming and attending. I was really worried about it. It's the first time we did it. We never did this. Such a charismatic speaker he is, So you all came. Thank you very much for that. But we should extend our support to him also. By encouraging him, especially by buying the book center, reading them. Second thing, we should invite him to come again and again and again. Only times he didn't travel. So he came last year, but he didn't come. I said, why didn't come? So please come next year. Every time you come from my class, start there. So that is exposure to the headship, which is not going to be loud. Is anything as a rule. We will be going by this. You know, I mean, they didn't 40 books, it didn't often very all the time to read all those and write all those things. You know, apart from his regular preaching, actually. He's very blessed, you know. So we don't know the greatness of a devotee when he's listening to us, you know. So, but, you know, when we soak in the knowledge he imparts to us and apply on that in our daily lives, that is the true appreciation we have. Thank you. Thank you. So,
Very good.
everybody was, you know, so shift of sales, that way, you know, he essentially give